Okay. Well, I have Sandy here today, and we're going to talk all about Lyme's disease. And maybe we can start off, Sandy, by you telling us about symptoms or, why you suspect what you have maybe Lyme's.
Okay. Well, I happen to be on the East Coast. I've been here for a little while, and Cape Cod is predominantly one of the largest places or areas of the nation um, for ticks, especially deer-borne ticks in the area. And in the spring, well, late winter, I started running, and in the path that I was taking, there's a lot of shrubbery, and I every time I would come out of there, I would always have lots of ticks on me. Most of them wood ticks, and I really wasn't paying attention. I was using the proper precautions for them, but I did find that we have a dog that I run with as well, and she'll climb into the bed with us at night. And I found one morning that I had a couple of ticks. I had one on my cheek, which was a wood tick, and then I had another one that I thought was a wood tick, or there's another name for it. There's one other tick that's just regular. It's not known to carry Lyme, and I took that off. But there was never any bullseye or rash. I didn't have any initial, but I noticed that towards the spring, late spring, what I was finding is that I was getting weaker, in that like I stretch every day. I may not do a full yoga session, like a 45-minute session, but I usually stretch every single day. And I was finding that I was regressing when I should have been advancing. My muscles were getting tight. It was almost like they were shrinking. And then I started to get pain in a few areas, predominantly in my hips and in my shoulders and in my neck. And that has just gotten it, I just felt like weak. I felt like my muscles were not strong. I hadn't been weightlifting in quite a while, but I have always maintained a Pilates or a yoga or some sort of stretching and strengthening exercise. And like I said, I was running and I was really enjoying it. I had just finished my first 5K ever. It was a goal that I achieved, and I was looking forward to doing some more running. And I couldn't. My lung capacity was fine, but the weakness in my body was just getting more and more challenging. And then it was the tightness. Like there were days where I would get up and on my feet, my joints just ached, and I started to feel like I was like 90 years old, and I'd never felt like that before. And so it went on for a few weeks. I wasn't thinking Lyme at first. I was thinking other things. So my usual pattern is to go towards the metaphysical and try to determine if there's an emotional thing going on, a mindset thing that needs to be adjusted. And I just, I've been doing a lot of healing work. So I thought, well, maybe this is like the aftermath, kind of like when you're doing heavy emotional release, it's kind of like a hangover. And I thought, well, I've been doing some major shifting. And I thought, well, maybe that's it. And it just got progressive. So I decided I just kind of meditated on it and followed spirit. And I started eating differently. I started drinking differently. And one day I woke up and they said, go to your herbalist, go to your herb shop and ask a couple of questions. I didn't know what that meant. I just followed instructions and I went out there. And sure enough, while I was waiting in line to ask my question, this woman was there standing, waiting to be served. And she described something that was very much like me. And I asked her what was going on. She was so happy to share her information with me. And I shared my aches and pains and the inflexibility. And it's not really a fatigue, like an emotional or a physical fatigue, but it's a fatigue in the muscle. And she said, for sure. So I got onto what's called a Lyme formula, which has a variety of different herbs, and I can share those with you if you need me to. And within 3 days, my symptoms almost halted, and I started to feel like myself again and rejuvenating. But I found that as I continued with the medicine, I'd need to take more in order to get the same relief. And I did continue to do that. I started that was around the same time that I did I started to do the cleansing. when we did was it the 5-day challenge? Or
The
no, there was
7 week.
this, yes, that's what it was. It was during that 7 week, and I started to eat cleaner, and I started to, and that helped. But then a couple of weeks ago, I noticed that I wasn't able to maintain that good feeling that I was experiencing. And so now I'm just going to that next level of aggressively dealing with this. I'm still doing the quantum medicine that I've been doing, the energy healing. I do the herbal medicine every day. I'm not that good with vitamins and supplements. I try to be consistent, but I just don't like taking pills. It's not that I can't take them. It's just so it's time. It's time to just up level and see where am I missing the mark. I know consistency is a real important part of the overall healing. I'm in meditation and prayer, and I'm stretching every day, which helps. I do certain exercises that help in those particular areas. Massage every once in a while, but I haven't been able to do that as often as I'd like because of COVID. It's just been a little wonky. And chiropractic adjustments helped a little bit too.
Well, first off, I'm sorry that this is happening. It is an explosion of, Lyme's, as well as chronic illness that look like Lyme, right? Even some people with, after having COVID, is feeling that barrage of sensations that feel a lot like Lyme. So before I talk about, what I have experienced in terms of interviewing different people and reading up on it, I wanted to ask very specifically what your diet is like right now, and what essential oils you are consistent with, or maybe that you switch in and out of.
Okay. My diet right now, I'm doing a lot of intermittent fasting because I find that really helps me. I'm very much into, I do a veggie shake every day, which includes my omegas. It includes minerals for detoxification of the liver. And so like the heavy on the celery and the greens, avocado, and fruit. I try to round it off with fruit as well, and other proteins, cacao sometimes in there. It just depends on the day. So that's the predominant one. I'm trying to stay away from meat, but I don't eat meatless. My body type requires a certain amount of protein, and I've never found that a meatless diet has ever lasted for me for very long. But everything that I do consume is organic, and I stay away from, sugary foods is not my thing. I'm much more to the savory, maybe crackers or chips or something like that. But for the most part, I'm really trying to limit the amount of gluten that I take into my diet. I even try to limit the dairy that's in my diet. None of them, I'm not free of anything, so to speak, but it's very much minimalist in all areas.
Okay. Yeah, that might be something to consider as you're, like you say, aggressively treating it. Really staying off gluten, really staying off dairy, and see how that helps. And sometimes eggs too can be feeding, the bacteria and any imbalance that happens because of the flourishing of this bacteria in your body. And then other inflammatory foods that you may want to just see how you feel with is soy and corn. Yeah. And then the essential oils?
Oh, the essential oils, I'm not consuming essential oils. I do take my probiotic, but I infuse constantly, and I use them topically constantly. And I have an array of ones. I kind of do them intuitively, but I did do my homework with one of the apps on, I forget which app it was, but it had to do with the young living oils, and trying to take an inventory before my next order to try to include more of those ingredients, oregano and that type of,
Really strong
yeah.
oils that can help with the bacteria. And so you probably did look up the app that is related to the desk reference.
Okay.
And here, what it says about Lyme disease is that the singles, the top singles, Melissa, oregano, both kinds, myrrh, eucalyptus blue, dorado azole, thyme, and clove. And the blends are Panaway, Melrose, Thieves, and Exodus 2. And the nutritionals here are Inner Defense, Essential Zymes 4, Detox Zyme. And it says Power Meal here, but I think that's more of, a meal replacement. Is there a reason you don't take oils internally?
You don't have no, there is no reason. I just haven't, it hasn't become a habit of mine. I am going to order the veggie caps in order to be able to create my own. And I know that that's not necessary. And I don't have the kind of palate that is sensitive to that sort of thing anyway. So there really is no reason other than just not having created a habit of doing so.
Okay. So do you drink Ningxia Red?
Not yet. That's going to be on my order for next month,
Okay.
or this month actually.
So even though Ningxia Red isn't on this particular list, what I have seen is, especially when you haven't actually had it for that long, but know that recovery from Lyme disease takes years. And sometimes people actually have it for many, many, many years before they even realize. And so by that time, it's gotten so deeply ingrained in their body. So I think for you, it seems like we're still sort of in the early stages, and so could really make a difference if we have a targeted approach, right?
Well, here's another thing. Do you remember a couple years ago when we were together and I was struggling emotionally?
Mm-hmm.
It's not beyond the scope of possibility that I've had it for a long time, that it has taken this long to manifest into those parts of my body, and that that it affected me emotionally first off. Because I noticed in the past couple of years, and it's hard to tell because I was also in that perimenopausal stage too, which graduated to menopause over the last year. So it was, is it that, or is it possible that this was going on along with that? Because I was on the East Coast a few times for in 2018, and even in 2017, I was in the symptoms of that emotional state. And I've talked to a lot of people who have had Lyme, and that was how their symptoms originated. They found themselves to be emotionally affected before the physical aspect of it started. So there is a possibility. I don't know if it's measurable. I don't know if it's like other diseases where they can measure that you've had it for a certain length of time, kind of like a pregnancy test where they can measure how pregnant you are based on the the hormones.
So regardless, I think the strategy is always the same. And what I was going to say was that I have heard of people getting better just by doing a number of different things. One of them is just drinking Ningxia Red and Thieves regularly. And this was someone that was affected in their blood. So a prick of their blood, and very simple, just a prick of their blood under the microscope, they could see a lot of clumps and just unhealthy. And then drinking Thieves and Ningxia Red helped them feel better, and testing their blood again showed really nice healthy blood cells. Yeah, so that was one of them. And the other thing I wanted to say too is that it seems like it is something that you manage and you not quite, cure. But I don't want you to think that it's not possible, right? We always go in with the idea that we are truly sort of empowered
Yeah.
to, yeah. So the other thing that I've seen people do is the liver cleansing. That did you do that, or you just did a 5-day cleanse? What did you do?
No, I was actually doing a Daniel fast at the time, and I just included I forget, it might have been the liver cleanse. No, I didn't do the liver cleanse. I did the bowel cleanse first. The whatever the first one is. I think it's called Master Cleanse.
Okay.
The one that's before the liver cleanse, because she was pretty careful to say that when liver holds so many toxins and the kidneys hold so many toxins, that if you do that before you clean your bowel, your colon, that it can overload the system.
Yeah.
So clean the colon first and then go into the liver. So that's what's next. I think I was going to do the kidney because they also recommend kidney in December or in the winter. So
Yeah, so the idea is to kill off the bacteria, to support your organs in eliminating them while you're cleaning, well, you're killing them off. And that then consists of, so the killing off the thieves, right? And the melissa and the oregano, a lot of that you can actually take internally. If you wanted to take it in a capsule, melissa and oregano are both really, really spicy. So I wouldn't suggest just putting it under your tongue. I would say get the capsules and use, you usually we suggest ramping up to your desired strength, just because we don't want to overwhelm your body with the highest strength right away. So you can always start with 3 drops each and see if moving up helps, and then stopping at where, most of the time when we're sort of testing ourselves, we get to a point where it doesn't feel so good, so we go back one,
okay.
to the steps of strength.
And is that +1 daily, or is that plus one? What is the increment of it, adding that next drop?
Yeah. Well, let's just say how many times per day first. I would say start with 1 time a day and then move to 2 times a day.
Okay.
And then stay there for a while and for a day, and then see if adding a drop, first of all, see if how that has impacted you and if you want to add a drop. Also, generally, we want to take breaks when we are taking the essential oils. So you could do 5 days and then take 2 days off, and then 5 days, take 2 days off. It is somewhat arbitrary, and you can pick, 7 days, 3 days off, or 5 days, 2 days off. Sometimes people go even as low as 3 days and then 1 day off, and then 3 days as 1 day off.
Okay.
So you just want to play with it. We are all so different, and your willingness to, to really honor your body and support it naturally is really impressive. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've done this before. I've done the metaphysical. I've turned osteopenia around. I've turned, I had a biopsy on one of my breasts, which I can only guess that if I wasn't making the choices that I made at the time, it would have metastasized into something more. And so that I eliminated, and there's been other symptoms along the way that I've taken care of metaphysically, so that I know that I know that it can be done. And I know people who have actually healed Lyme. They've aggressively done the diet, the medication, the herbal medicine, meditation, and that whole thing. And they are zero. They have no Lyme in their system whatsoever. So I
Yeah.
do know it's possible with real live examples, like in my circle. So
Yeah.
we're gonna do
what
this.
what I wanted to point out that
Yeah.
is that they don't go back to what they used to do with their
Absolutely.
body. They maintain. Otherwise, I don't know, but a lot of people say if they don't stick with it, it comes back. That's what I mean. But absolutely, you can feel your best. Yes.
Exactly.
So that's the killing off, right? And oregano and melissa very highly antiviral, antibacterial, and so I would definitely add olive oil into the capsule just to dilute it. Yeah.
Okay.
And I would also maybe alternate the oils. So if you are doing one intensively, like a pair intensively for maybe 2-3 weeks, switch it up to something else on the list. So maybe thyme and clove,
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh, bless you.
I'm looking for my water. Oh, here it is. Okay, so that, so then I would also put it at the bottoms of your feet. So you're constantly either digesting it or having it topically.
That I do.
Yeah.
Again, not consistently, but I've just recently decided this week when the symptoms started to come back, I'm like, I don't like not feeling well. I want to get on top of it. So yeah, reflexology and getting them on the soles of my feet will be a new practice.
And so Panaway, the blend is actually on top of the list here, and I can only imagine that's because of the joint pains. So someone's calling me. So I would put that on your neck, on your back, on your hips, and dilute it if you want, which kind of gives it more, viscosity to spread it around. Yeah. Okay, so then we move on to supporting your organs to cleanse. And the two, of course, or a lot of our organs are cleansing, but digestion, poop and pee, right? So poop and pee, we can support it by supporting our kidney and our liver. With the liver, Ledum has been one that lots of people have used successfully, and Ledum is powerful, but if most of the time it's really good to have blends. And so Juva Cleanse is a blend that is really powerful for your liver. And when there was someone with hepatitis symptoms, he took Juva Cleanse for a month, and the liver was good, really healthy sign. Yeah. And Juva Flex is another option. Juva Flex Vitality and Juva Cleanse Vitality you can take internally, so you can do both. You can do topically on your meridians or internally.
Now, what is the difference again with Vitality versus the single oil?
The difference in my mind is that the 15 ml, because Vitality only comes in 5,
Correct.
The 15 ml is cheaper per ml. That's my difference. So I always get the 15 ml. There is absolutely no difference in the quality of the essential oil. It is the labeling that allows for consumers to know Vitality is labeled as a dietary supplement. So we don't have to second guess ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
So
hoping that that was the answer.
yeah. Um, Even when it says do not consume, it's only for topical and diffusing aromatic use. That is because they cannot label a dietary supplement together with topical use. Yeah. Um, so those two have been amazing. Any citrus oil, so there is one recipe that people like to use, and it's citrus fresh and ledum. And they actually do this in the petrochemical detox challenge.
Oh, okay.
But it does get rid of a lot of the toxins in our liver.
Nice.
Yeah. I can find that recipe and post it after this call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
And so then the kidney, Juvaflex and Juvacleanse both kind of help the kidney as well, but Juniper is one that really helps the kidney with its function. So you could use Juniper on its own.
I should be drinking more gin.
Right? A lot of the alcoholic drinks at first started with, being
They did.
medicinal, right?
They did. Absolutely. I'm joking. I'm not consuming any alcohol.
Yes, that's the other one that
It is.
really flares it up, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And I had a glass of wine at Thanksgiving, and I'm wondering if maybe that may have contributed. I don't know if one glass of wine would do that, but the
Yeah.
fact that a few days later I was feeling it again.
Honestly, I'm not surprised. Any of the inflammatory foods, it's when you're at a stage of inflammation, it is just one is going to take you over. When you have been cleansing for a longer period, maybe one would be okay, one glass, but probably not at this time. So we're talking about kidney and supporting the kidney. You've heard of grapefruit being really good for the kidney, geranium and juniper, and digest here is really good as well. Digest. So I was gonna move on to digestion, and digest is definitely for that. But again, GLF, the three for liver, kidney, and liver and kidney is GLF, Juvaflex, and Juvacleanse.
Okay.
Yeah. GLF, by the way, stands for gallbladder liver flush.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so then you're talking about the digestion. So for sure, you want to not eat any of the inflammatory foods.
Right.
And I find it fairly easy nowadays to eat gluten-free and dairy-free. You were in my household and know that we don't have any of that, and it's with all that's available. It's just
There's
been
so much available, and my sister has been gluten and dairy free for decades, and so I'm very familiar with the products, and of course, yeah, it's transferable. I've been doing a lot of collagen. That was the other one that I'm doing a lot of, the bone broth, and then collagen itself as an additive in my smoothie. That was the other ingredient I couldn't think of earlier.
Yeah. So one thing I was going to say, if your sister has been gluten-free and dairy-free for a while, I guess my question to you is why?
She did it as, I don't remember if she got tested for celiac or not, but whenever she had dairy, she would have a terrible migraine. And whenever she had gluten, she'd suffered with IBS.
Okay.
Major IBS issues, just pain. And as soon as she removed those things from her diet, she doesn't suffer from either one of them. So she's just stayed on that diet.
Okay. I point to it because it's important to note that when we have family members that have successfully, sort of treated whatever symptoms they had with going gluten-free and dairy-free, then if we're suffering with something, that's a clue. That's
Right.
like we're kin, right? And
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So
Well, her awareness actually started from my awareness with my son, who was just a youngster at the time, who was having great difficulty with some of his stuff. And we were doing a rotation diet and found that he had a few items that he was seriously allergic to at the time. And it kind of inspired her to do it. And that's kind of when she realized, oh, there's a definite connection. So yeah,
yes, and that's
big
the same with
connection.
me. You know, I really started on my wellness journey because of my son. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that helps me too. So with digestion, did you say you were taking enzymes?
I am. Um, Detoxzyme, because there was Essential Zyme was not available. It wasn't in stock. So I did the Comfort and I did the IP. Is it the IP?
ICP?
ICP? Yeah, ICP. So I did that for a little while and I'm gonna resume doing it. Yeah, the Detoxzyme I was
Detoxzyme.
doing.
Okay, so Detoxzyme, it's actually really good to take 5 at night and 5 sometime during the day. And if you take it in between meals, then it helps to detox what's floating around. And if you take it
Okay.
for a meal, then it helps you to digest your food. So either or, with different
Okay.
intentions. I was just laughing because Young Living, an inside joke with ICP is that it stands for I see poo. Have you read that?
No.
No.
It just occurred to me when you said it laughingly. It's like, oh, ICP. And I'm thinking, oh,
Yeah.
is it a kidney cleanse? But yeah, no, it fits for that too.
Yeah. Yeah. ICP, I see poo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's digestion. Avoiding the foods, supporting with digest, supporting it with enzymes. And digest, you can take it just a drop under your tongue. I love doing that. In fact, I'll do that right now just because I haven't done it today. So I take the bottle and then I put a drop under my tongue. And it helps me stay regular. So I just am on it quite a bit.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Okay, so then we go to the next step of supporting our joints to feel better. And sulfurzyme is one that has really helped a lot of people lessen the inflammation in their joints, whether or not it's from Lyme. And there is a ramping up on sulfurzyme that people do. Again, it is at your own pace and see how your joints feel. But they go up to sometimes 10, 20 pills a day. And I haven't gone that far, but I am hoping to do some kind of a sulfurzyme ramping up pretty soon because I feel my joints too, like my fingers. I get a trigger finger on the one and it kind of gets stuck. And oh, there you go. See?
Yeah. I have that in
anyway.
I have a toe thing that does that. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some kind of inflammation there. So I want to start doing that. So sulfurzyme is great for that. And in terms of collagen, so we have a product called Agilis. I don't know if you've tried it, but people who have arthritis have actually had really good results with it. It's got turmeric and it's got collagen type 2, if I'm not mistaken. That is the kind of collagen you want when you are trying to regrow, the collagen around your joints. So you might want to give that a try. And of course, we talked about Panaway earlier, putting it topically. And Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about, so when you're doing all these things, you may actually get more of a reaction than recovering right away. So this is called the Herxheimer reaction. Have you heard of that?
I heard about it. Yes.
Yeah, so
I
Herx reaction. And what that is that your body then is not able to detox as fast as you are releasing the toxins. And so the few things here that can help is sweating.
Oh, I got plenty of that going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, menopause is helping in that respect.
Yeah, but like hot bath and sauna, those are really
Yes,
good for you. Yeah.
I bathe daily in whatever oil I happen to need at the time. So
Yeah.
it's always an
Oh, good.
experience.
Good. And then of course replenishing after you
Yes.
sweat. So you know, coconut water is really great as a replenisher. Young Living has this product too that's a mineral electrolyte supplement. And if you don't mind stevia, I know some people don't want stevia, but that has stevia in it. It's just better than sugar.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, movement and massage, which is what you already do. Veggie juice, you already do that.
Mhm.
And I guess one more thing that we all need that most of us are deficient of, two things actually, is vitamin C and vitamin D.
Mhm. Yep,
Yeah,
I've got
you have
those
that.
and glucosamine and chondroitin and vitamin D because I'm in that part of the world where there's not that much sun right now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, good. Good. And just for the benefit of those watching, Young Living has a Super D formula that has vitamin D3 and K2 in it. So that is really
Oh,
helpful
good.
when
Okay.
you're living in an area with not enough sun. And the vitamin C, you have the chewable C and the Super C. So
Hmm.
those are two options there. And then, of course, let's see. In terms of the herbs, it sounds like you have the blend that you
I
are
do.
taking. Yeah.
I
Okay.
do. And they customize it for me
Yeah. Good.
based on some other things that I've shared with them, and so they'll play around with it a little bit. But it's predominantly the Japanese knotweed and just the top 10 are
Yeah.
usually in other formulas as well.
Okay. Good.
And
Yes, that was exactly what I was going to say. Japanese knotweed, and
they've added some rosemary, ginkgo, and gochu kola because
mhm.
a lot of people get brain fog. I don't actually have that as some do, but they have added it to this formula. And yeah, this cat's claw, Siberian ginseng, red root, astragalus, prickly ash. Those are the top ones.
Yeah.
And and we titrate with that as well. So it's the same kind. It's like what you one on the first day and then two the next day and go so on and so forth. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Um, so those are the things that I would recommend.
Mhm.
And I wonder if you have any other questions.
Just ask my children for a couple of massage certificates for my birthday and Christmas.
Yes.
um, no, it's thorough. You filled in the blanks on a lot of questions that I've had, and like consistency is going to be real important here. So setting the intention of consistency, and but yeah, I'm going to go set my order up again um, for this month and get myself some additional support.
Yeah, and it's worth revisiting once you get on it, and because there may be other things that you can add that is going to be beneficial. It's all like layers, you know,
It is
and
layers.
and
A
also
lot of
the mutation of the bacteria. So
That's a great point, and I'm finding that to be so true. So true.
yeah.
Um, I got my hands full in terms of really drilling into the meditation and really getting into that cellular level. Um, I've I've got a book. It's in Hawaii in my things called Cell Level Meditation, and it was something I had done for the breast mass, and it's just getting to such a depth of meditation that you're actually entering into the cell at at that level, that energetic level, and blasting it with your mind, so to speak, you know, in your
Wow.
intention. So um, I'm disappointed in one way, but I am feeling well enough to be up for the challenge and to be. I almost feel like it's a gift. I feel like it's a gift as much as it doesn't feel like a gift right now. I feel it as a gift to really it's almost like the universe saying, okay, here's an opportunity for you to prove what you say you believe in. Do you really believe? How
Yeah.
deep is your belief in your faith?
Mhm.
Okay, there, leader, lead the way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's how I'm pursuing it as an opportunity. And I'd love to, I don't know, maybe in the new year, have another, shorter conversation about progress and maybe some things that I don't know if either one of us has learned something new we could share with our community to explain the
Yes.
blessings that we've received. And you
Yeah.
are always a blessing to me, Leanne. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Oh,
your time.
yeah. Thank you, Sandy, for being so willing to, discuss all of this and help other people who are maybe,
Absolutely. That
yeah,
is what we're
going through
here
this
for,
process.
right? This is
Yeah.
what we're here for. We can't call ourselves healers if we're not willing to do it ourselves. And
Yeah.
that's the gift. That's the
Yeah.
gift. So,
Yeah.
yes, thank you so much for being on this journey with me and to everybody else who will be listening to this. Aloha.
Thank you. Aloha.